Ever heard of artificial embryos? No? Well, let me give you an overview of what it is. Artificial embryos are also known as synthetic embryos. These embryos are created without fertilization, which means they do not require an egg or sperm cell. These embryos rely on self-assembling stem cell structures to mimic the natural process of early mammal development. So, why are these artificial embryos significant? First, natural embryos are hard to get and keep alive outside the body. There will be a time where the embryo will reach a black box stage, where the embryo implants itself to the uterus. At this point, researchers lose sight of the embryo, and they can't do research on it. So, they created this artificial embryo to study early human development that can help to solve infertility problems and chronic disease in adult lives.
The objective of the experiment regarding artificial embryos is to allow scientists to see how these cells react in real time. Researchers believe that studying the early stages of human development could help them develop effective treatments for chronic diseases and infertility. Secondly, through device methods, scientists can study how these cells react to various drug compounds. They can also learn more about the genetic modifications that affect their development. Finally, by using the stem cells rather than sperms and eggs to make model embryos, it could offer plenty of supply for scientific research because natural embryos are hard to get and keep it alive outside the body. This enables scientists to examine how living cells develop.
For sure, these inventions come with their advantages. One of it is the embryo can be created without fertilization. As a result, artificial embryos do not require an egg or a sperm cell. Furthermore, these embryos rely on self-assembling stem cell structures to mimic the natural process of early mammal development. Another significant benefit is that the introduction of artificial embryos has reduced the number of miscarriages around the world.
Artificial embryos have numerous benefits, but they can have their drawbacks. Artificial embryos require a high cost that scientists cannot bear. Moreover, artificial embryos give out a lot of negative impacts according to religious beliefs. Thus, it causes a clash between beliefs.
Moving on, the global market of artificial embryos is very interesting. In the global market, there are some restrictions on artificial embryos due to several reasons. One of the reasons is a ban on maintaining intact human embryos in the laboratory beyond 14 days. This ban is imposed in more than 20 countries. Another reason is the issue of patenting research processes and research findings involving embryonic stem cells. The high cost of the technology used in artificial embryos is a reason for the restrictions in the global market. The key drivers of artificial embryos in the global market are the increase in fertility rates. 12% of women aged between 15 to 44 years have used infertility services in 2016.
These artificial embryos certainly have given the society an impact. For example, the research can observe patterns within the cells and can distinguish where issues may arise, especially as they occur during similar stages. It has certainly given a bigger impact on religious perspectives. From a religious perspective, artificial embryo is taking over God's job of creating a human. Thus, it causes a clash between beliefs. Most people believe that medical advances that allow embryos to live outside the human body and scientific knowledge that 40 days after conception is not a significant time in human development have put humanity in a situation anticipated by religious tradition. Some parts of the world have taken a further measure about this issue, such as the United States have guidelines that forbid research on human embryos past 14 days after fertilization, which is around the time the primitive streak forms. Others, including the United Kingdom, have explicit laws against it. They do not want these embryos to go to the waste because we might never know that one might be a future world leader. Even with all these debates, the invention of the artificial embryos still goes on.
So, we have reached at the end of this video. As a summary, artificial embryos are created using modern science. They are basically embryos that have been artificially generated through various means. This involves manipulating the genes of an egg or sperm. which results in the production of an embryo that is not naturally occurring. It is important to weigh the pros and cons of using these embryos before making any decisions. In conclusion, an artificial embryo would be promising technology with the potential to revolutionize fertility treatments. It has already had an impact on research and development, and there are indications that its use will only increase in the coming years. We hope all of you can get a clearer vision about artificial embryos through our explanations. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day ahead.